Commander Zethkar studied the humanoid creature through the reinforced plasma glass, his four eyes narrowing with satisfaction. The human sat motionless in the center of the detention cell, wrists bound by quantum restraints that could hold a rampaging Gorathian war beast. Yet somehow the prisoner appeared almost comfortable. Subject designation Marcus Chen, Terran Federation Special Forces, Zethkar read from his datapad. Captured during the failed defense of Kepler Station. Intelligence suggests he possesses critical information about human military capabilities. His aide, a nervous Vellani named Sisk, clicked his mandibles anxiously. Commander, perhaps we should reconsider. The previous interrogation subjects from other species have all broken within the first cycle. Zethkar interrupted, his scaled lips curling into what passed for a smile among his kind. Humans are soft, Sisk. Weak creatures that conquered their world through luck and primitive cunning. This one will be no different. The detention facility on Mortanus Prime was renowned throughout the hegemony as the place where hope went to die. Countless prisoners from dozens of species had entered its walls, and none had ever left with their sanity intact. The psychological torture methods developed here had broken the strongest warriors, the most disciplined minds, and the most fanatically loyal soldiers the galaxy had ever produced. Zethkar activated the cell's neural disruptor field. The device would flood the prisoner's mind with disturbing images, painful memories, and psychological terrors designed to shatter mental defenses within hours. He watched with anticipation as the field engaged. Marcus Chen opened his eyes and looked directly at the observation window. His gaze seemed to pierce through the one-way glass and lock onto Zethkar's position. Then, impossibly, the human smiled. Phase 1 complete, reported Guard Captain Morex 12 hours later. Subject shows no signs of psychological breakdown, increasing neural disruptor intensity to level 7. Zethkar frowned. Level 7 had reduced a Krillian berserker to a whimpering child within minutes. Yet the human continued to sit calmly, occasionally humming what sounded like primitive Earth music. Perhaps their neural structure is different, suggested Sisk, reviewing the biometric readings. Commander, his stress hormones are actually decreasing. Impossible. Initiate physical conditioning protocols. The torture droids entered the cell with mechanical precision. Their limbs extended cruel implements designed to inflict maximum pain without causing permanent damage that might lead to unconsciousness or death. For 6 hours, they worked on the human prisoner while monitoring his vitals to ensure he remained conscious throughout the ordeal. Marcus Chen endured it all without a single scream. When the droids finally withdrew, he looked up at the observation window again. His face was battered, blood trickling from multiple wounds, but his eyes remained clear and defiant. He mouthed, something that the translation matrix couldn't decipher, but Zethkar somehow understood the gesture perfectly. Try harder. Over the following days, Zethkar escalated the interrogation protocols beyond anything previously attempted. He subjected the human to sensory deprivation, then sensory overload. He used psychotropic gases that should have induced madness. He employed sonic frequencies that had liquefied the brains of other species. He even brought in a Scythian mind reader, a creature capable of literally tearing thoughts from unwilling subjects. The Scythian lasted 30 seconds before recoiling in terror. What did you see? Zethkar demanded. The alien's tentacles writhed in distress. Memories of war, Commander. Such war as has never been known. This creature's people, they have fought for millennia, not just against external enemies but against themselves. They have built weapons that could destroy worlds, and the knowledge of that destruction lives in every one of them. And this one has already experienced worse than anything we can do to him. He volunteered to hold this knowledge, to bear this burden. Pain is not foreign to him, Commander. Pain is familiar, comfortable even. On the 7th day, something changed. The human began to speak. You know, Marcus said conversationally to the empty cell, his voice carrying clearly through the monitors. I've been thinking about my grandfather. He survived the siege of Leningrad, 900 days of starvation, bombardment, and death. When I was a kid, he told me that the secret wasn't to avoid suffering. It was to find meaning in it. Zethkar leaned forward, thinking the human was finally breaking. He said that humans don't break the way other things break. We bend, we adapt, we endure, and when we can't endure anymore, we find ways to make our suffering serve a purpose. Every minute you waste on me, Commander, is another minute my people have to prepare for what's coming. The commander's blood ran cold. What's coming? Marcus looked directly at the observation window again, and this time his smile was different. Predatory. Did you really think the Terran Federation would just let you take one of their own? Did you think we wouldn't have contingency plans? That's when the first explosion rocked the facility. Alarms began wailing as the lights flickered. Through the facility's communication system came reports of human warships dropping out of hyperspace. Not just a rescue mission, but a full battle fleet. The defensive platforms around Mortanis Prime were being systematically destroyed. Impossible, Zethkar whispered. This facility's location is classified at the highest levels. We've been feeding you intelligence for months, Marcus explained calmly as explosions grew closer. Every captured human, every failed defense, every desperate last stand, all of it designed to make you think you were winning. To make you confident enough to bring your prisoners here. The human stood up, and the quantum restraints fell away from his wrists like they had never been there at all. You see, Commander, you made one critical error in your assessment of humanity. You assumed we were like other species, that we fight alone, that we break individually. But humans are pack hunters. We've always been pack hunters, and we never ever abandon our own. The door to the detention cell exploded inward, and human soldiers in powered armor poured through the breach. But they weren't there to rescue Marcus Chen. They were there to secure the facility and everyone in it. Commander Zethkar, Marcus said formally, as the alien was dragged before him in chains. I believe it's time we discuss the terms of your surrender. I think you'll find that human interrogation techniques are quite educational. As the former commander of Mortanis Prime was led away to begin his own experience with captivity, he caught sight of Sisk cowering in the corner. The Villani was weeping openly, mandibles clicking in terror. Please, Sisk begged. We were only following orders. We didn't know. Marcus Chen looked down at the alien with the same calm expression he had maintained throughout his imprisonment. Oh, you'll have plenty of time to explain that to my colleagues. They're very interested in learning about your interrogation techniques. Very interested indeed. The last thing Zethkar heard as he was dragged away was the sound of human laughter, not cruel or sadistic, but genuinely amused. As if the entire ordeal had been nothing more than an interesting diversion. As if breaking aliens was just another Tuesday for the Terran Federation Special Forces. In the end, the guards of Mortanis Prime learned the same lesson that countless others throughout human history had discovered. You cannot break what has already been forged in fire. You cannot torture those who have made peace with pain. And you certainly cannot defeat a species that views suffering not as something to be avoided, but as something to be endured, overcome, and ultimately transformed into strength. The humans had not just escaped their prison, they had turned it into a weapon. And now the galaxy would learn what humanity truly meant by the phrase "no one left behind."